Well, Barrister Mbeseha, we've heard one too many times that it is not safe for Ambazonians in La Republic. Now, to those Ambazonians like the likes of Silas and Zah, who have built a fortune for themselves, trying to flee the war and have built a fortune for themselves in neighboring countries like La Republic, what do you advise looking at the state at which this xenophobic and bigotry acts are going? What would be your advice to them?
Well, if we must advise them, the problem is these people are internally, they are supposed to have escaped from war. When confronted with war, you go to where you think you can be safe. Sometimes even go to where you go to the nearest place where you think you can be safe for a while. And so they are going to the young man's escape to Yaoundé or to anywhere else. It was not voluntary. It was not a walk to that place. They escaped from danger, but it turned out to be like what we say in pidgin English, falling from the frying pan. They go to Yaoundé. Today is where the president lives. That's the quartier where the president lives. Today. So that area called Etudi is supposed to have the best security. The problem here is not this guy. It's not that this guy was accused of doing of something he did not do. The problem is what did the security people do to prevent the lynching? After being falsely accused for anything, if you find yourself in the hands of the police or the gendarmes or whatever they call it in Yaoundé there, they are supposed to provide you security to stop the lynching. That they don't just stop they don't just provide physical security for your physical human being, which they claimed they detain him for fear of being lynched. But they should have gone further to make sure that his property was secured. Because they knew, or they ought to know, that without seeing him, they would take vengeance on whatever thing he has. This they did not do. Was it an error? Was it deliberate? Was it a mistake or what? I don't know. But security measures require that they should have protected his property. They did not protect any property according to that gentleman's own story. They ransacked whatever thing he had and stole whatever he had and ran away with it. And what is interesting is that the next day after, or 2 days, I don't know how many days after, the gendarmes and police come back there and say, oh, we're arresting the people who did this. Arresting them where? The thing that there was a real criminal there, he was sitting there waiting for them to come. You can tell his boss to dwell out or some other place where he liked. How are you going to catch him? Was it manipulation? Was it deliberate or error? I don't know. But I would think that the police, the gendarmes bear a chunk of the responsibility for their failures. Notwithstanding, these guys are from a foreign country. The host country where refugees escape to, they are bound to provide you security for your own life and your property, whatever you have left. So whether you like Ambazonian or not, if they escape war and came to you, just like they escape and went to Nigeria, just like they escaped and went to Ghana, it becomes the responsibility of the home government to take care of you. And then most importantly, to provide you security. Because as an escapee, as a stranger, you are very, very vulnerable. You don't even know where to hide. You don't even know where to hide. And Karun, for example, he might not even, he wants to go to the police, for example, and then they might ask you for identity card. An identity card which you don't even have. If you had one, war might have destroyed it. And so it is a failure of the system, total failure of the system, either deliberately or inadvertently. But that's the victim. He's lucky to be alive. He has survived, at least with his physical self, though he has lost almost everything, if not everything, that he ever had to live on. What is the advice that we should give to these people, to our brothers and sisters who find themselves there, anywhere, be it in Yaoundé, be it in Bafoussam, be it in Bunda, be it in Nigeria? You have to act with prudence. You have to be your own security. Find protection among your own brothers and sisters, not among the enemies. Because according to his story, if the story is true, he barely showed his friend, that's his customer, a video And they came and said, oh, I've lost my Bangala. What does losing Bangala mean in the tradition? That they cut it off, but it's still hanging there, it is no longer active. What do they really mean by that? It's a frivolous complaint. And then according to them, they took it to the hospital. The Bangala is still hanging there, it's lost nothing. Even if it became inactive, could that gentleman or another person just show you a video make you sexually impotent, sexually inactive? You can no longer sustain an erection because you saw a video. And that man is not the manufacturer of the video. He just watched it like another person. And so it just goes to show the lawlessness of the society to which these people belong. Again, the guy who made these false allegations was not kept in custody. He's a criminal. They took him to the hospital to weigh everything and found that he was still intact. Rather than keep him for false allegations, they let him go. And then they kept the victim in custody. During which custody, he who went free used that opportunity to satisfy his previous need. Went and ransacked the guy's house, organized his things to be stolen. And so it is total lack of security measures, this total incompetence in the security services. Because that guy who made the allegation, by their own mouth, they took him to the hospital, there's nothing there, they took him to the room and they searched and found out his Bangala was still hanging there. He should have been locked up for false allegation. He should have been the one to be charged, to be set on free on bail. That would have restrained his brothers and sisters, his friends and allies, from going further to do what they were doing. They didn't. They set him free. They kept the victim of the accusation in custody. And the enemy used that opportunity to do what they really wanted to do. And so it is unacceptable. It's wrong. It should never have occurred to us. But again, it is occurring to us because we have been brought under these circumstances of a war we did not provoke. This gentleman had no reason to go to Etudi. If Etudi had not declared war on us, he's just selling food from the farm. He would have made his own farm wherever he comes from. He wouldn't have gone to Etudi. And so this is one reason why we fight. Luckily, it's happening in Etudi. Etudi is the headquarters where Mr. Biya, the headman of that country, lives. And if there's no security in Etudi, anywhere in Etudi, how do you expect them to provide you security in Bamenda, where we've been talking about killing? In Gokutunje, in Dab, in Mamfe, or in Boya? It's a country totally devoid of security. It is a country that we don't need to be with them. If we must be their neighbors, they will come to learn how to provide security from us. But since that is not yet the time, we have to continue to fight until we free ourselves from this dungeon, from this hell that we were walked into by the United Nations and our accomplices. Over to you.
That indeed it is a system that has failed, and this is just a cause of the systemic failure, as you said, and not just that, but also the lawlessness in La Republique. And sadly, it's very likely that these Ambazonians will get no justice, just like many other Ambazonians in La Republique, who in even worse instances have lost their lives.